Hi everyone, my name's Lillian Puente and I'm going to show you today my Geography 167 final project with Professor Burkhart. And I did my project on redlining in San Diego and the differences between redlining in the past, so the early 1930s, and to as recent as today. So this opening image is actually Chicano Park, which is right underneath the freeway. And these freeways are the 5 freeway, which goes north to south, and the Coronado freeway, which takes you to Coronado Island over in the Bay of San Diego. Alright, so to represent how the past has influenced the future in terms of redlining, I made 4 separate maps which depict the population percentage of a specific race and the gradation in that area. So for example, this is the white population that I got from the 2010 census, which I got from American Fact Finder. And you could see here, down here in the legend, that tells you the percent of the population dependent on each race. So here's the Hispanic, and the Asian is the green. And on top of that is a shapefile, which is actually these zones that these zones were actually made in 1936, which mark up how they determined the area in terms of home value, home ownership, race, and there was one more, income. Alright, so you can see here in the legend for each, it's the same, but just to look at the white population one, we have green is the best area, that's grade A, and then blue is grade B, yellow grade C, and red is the 4th grade, which is where the term redlining comes from because the lowest of the grades was indicated red. And we can see here in the white population that most of the A is found in the highest amounts of white population, such as here in La Jolla, which is predominantly white. And we could see here in the black population that for the red districts, we have the highest amount of black population. And that is the same as well for 1936. These were mainly minority-filled areas, and the coast was mainly predominantly white-filled areas, and that's pretty much translated to today from what you can see here. And just for another example, we have the Hispanic population, which is of course really predominant the southern you go towards Mexico. And we have the Asian population, which is kind of scattered. We have a dense population here, which is mainly in the red district, and a great concentration up north, but we don't have any data for up there. So that is how redlining in the past has affected the future, and one way that I can correlate this to modern day redlining would be the placement of freeways throughout San Diego. For example, we have here the same markups from 1936 just overlaid over San Diego and the freeways. And we can see that there are a lot of freeways going through the red areas and not so much the other colors, and just like up here in La Jolla, there's nothing. But obviously here we can see that it's being just cut through. And then if we go to our second slide here, this is Chicano Park, which is from that above image, and it's literally right under the 5 freeway, which is this freeway here, Interstate 5, and the Coronado freeway, which is Highway 75. And then if we go to the next slide, we can see that this was also a 4th grade district area from 1936. So we can see how that has also translated to the future. And then again here in La Jolla, no freeways going through it. So that just indicates us how the past has really affected how San Diego, the layout of San Diego is today, and places such as Chicano Park, how they're affected, especially when it comes to the placement of these freeways, which just completely tear cities in half. For example, the 5 running through here tore Barrio Logan apart, and now we have Barrio Logan on one side and Logan Heights on the other, all because of the freeway. And here's some statistics supporting how the race hasn't changed very much. And we can see here for Barrio Logan, the Hispanic population is 78%, while here in La Jolla, the white population is 76%, so nearly mirror opposites, which is pretty crazy because in 1936, this was at nearly 100% white population, and for Barrio Logan, it was described to be predominantly Mexican minorities as well. So not much has changed in almost 100 years. And then we have more on Chicano Park, and these are some of the murals that are painted right under the freeway, as so the people could make the park their own. And this is actually an old photo of the clearing of the homes and the infrastructures that were once there to make room for the freeway, so we could see just normal neighborhoods and these homes just being completely destroyed because that's where they decided they wanted to put the freeway. So the people of Barrio Logan were actually promised a park because of the freeway, but they discovered that they were building a parking lot instead. So the neighborhood of Barrio Logan actually protested in 1963, and since then Chicano Park has actually become a historical landmark. And without the protesting, this would all just be a parking lot. Therefore, in Chicano Park, we can see an example of how 4th grade D status has followed Barrio Logan to present-day placement of freeways, which has literally split it into 2, as I said earlier. And no freeways have been placed like this in grade A areas such as La Jolla's. So we can see here from the maps how the correlation between where minorities live now in these previously red marked areas and today, and how much hasn't changed, and how the heavy white populations are still A and B areas, and how that correlates to the placement of freeways today. As we can see here, there are numerous freeways flowing through this red area and yellow as well. So redlining in San Diego has been modernized through the placement of freeways today, and that stems all the way from these markers that were made up in 1936. All right, thank you for listening. My name is Lillian Puente.